get your general thoughts on you've got a lot of young offensive linemen who've played a lot this year. A couple of them are banged up, but you look at Driscoll, Jordan, Sua, Nate, Jariga played a little bit. What's your overall kind of impression of that group, and how encouraging is it that these guys have gotten this kind of playing time at such an early stage?
Yeah, well, yeah. As you know, our offensive line is only getting older at this point between the guys that have been here for a long time, even the guys that are injured, and between me, JP, Brooks, Lane. You're always trying to find out who those guys are that are going to be ready to play. Lost a huge player last year in Vaitai, who went up to Detroit. I mean, he was an integral part to our unit for a long time. Was never really heralded around here very much, but we all in the room knew how important he was to the success of the team. We saw it the Super Bowl year in particular. You got to have guys ready to go on the offensive line. You're going to have injuries like there are this year. You're going to have situations where you need them. And it's been really valuable, not just for those guys, but for the team to be able to see what those guys have and how they're going to go out there and compete. And I've been really happy with those guys. I think, Nate Herbig has done a great job whenever he's been called. Jack Driscoll, I can't believe he played through what he played through last week against one of the best defensive ends in the NFL over the last decade, Cam Jordan. Went out there and did a great job. I think that the young guys have really stepped up around here and played pretty darn well. Obviously, Jordan Mailata, the big rugby player. Now he's officially a football player. Went out there and has played really, really well. And it's always good to see, a 6'9", 400-pound guy show you that he'll be a good player in the NFL. Those are kind of rare to see. So really happy with the young guys. The O-line, I think, is trended in the right direction. It's a testament to Stout and to all the coaches and everybody and the personnel people of making sure that we got people there that are ready to go. And, I think those guys, for the most part, hasn't been perfect, but have done about as good as you can ask for out of young guys or reserve linemen in this league.
Paul Wolf and then John McMullen.
Hey, Jason, you know that when a team has, a bad record, there is always speculation about people's jobs, and you've played for several head coaches. What, in your opinion, makes Doug a good head coach?
Well, Doug, obviously, you saw it llast week. I mean, we're 3-8-1, and guys are still going out there and giving them everything they got. I think a great head coach is a guy that is a great motivator. I mean, is it important to be a genius? It helps, I guess. Is it important to be a big rah-rah guy? Yeah, it helps. But the most important thing is does this guy relate to people, and does he motivate people, and does he get the most out of people, players, the coaches under him, everybody. And I think that I know that Doug builds an environment that empowers individuals, empowers players, empowers his coaches underneath him to be the best that they can be. And in my opinion, that's the best quality trait you can have in a leader, and it's a lot harder to find than I think is often credited.
John McMullen and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Jason, wanted to talk to you about that Arizona defense. At least from the outside looking in, it looks kind of unique because of how many linebackers they use at times, as opposed to other teams. Jordan Hicks, our old friend, is obviously in that group. Is it that much different, or am I overstating that?
No, it's different. I mean, anytime you're going up against a 3-4 defense, you're going to get, more of these hybrid players at outside backer that are kind of, are they a linebacker? Are they a pass rushing specialist? What is this guy great at, or what are they going to use him for? And they have a lot of those guys that are tweener guys, a lot of guys that can drop or rush, are good enough at rushing that you got to honor them. Can't just leave them on a mismatch. So they're going to present a lot of different looks, try and get you off kilter. They play really well as a unit. They're well coached. You can see that on tape. You got to be ready to go. You got to be ready for each and every personnel grouping they could give you, each and every look. I'm sure there'll be a couple new ones that they're going to give us, as there are every week. And you just try and make sure you're putting, for me personally, I'm trying to just put guys in the the highest chance of being successful on a given play. And you just got to study that much more. But it is unique. They have a lot of different personnels, groupings, looks, fronts. They're going to throw the gambit at you.
Jeff McClain and then Mike Sealski.
Jason, your public comments to us last week about the assigning of blame and how it related to the offensive problems this season, was that a message that you were delivering also internally? And how was it received both privately and also if it was just publicly the way that you delivered it, how was it received in that manner as well?
I don't know that I necessarily was pushing it internally, because I think that, the head coach and everybody else were already pushing it. This is not I don't really think it was a different message than the one that's already been stated. I think Doug said virtually the same thing when he made the decision to bench Carson. He said this isn't just on Carson, it's on myself, it's on everybody here. And that was my message. I think that, you look at whenever you're struggling or whenever you're not performing that well as a group, it's never just one guy, it's everybody. And that's the way you have to approach it. Everybody has to be accountable to what they're doing. I have to be accountable to getting my job done. Players, coaches, everybody have to be accountable. And I think that's the message that, well, not that I think, I know that's the message Doug has been preaching the entire season. So, we've been trying to get this right. We've been trying to improve. We've been trying to just keep on going, keep plugging away. Obviously, a decision was made at the quarterback position, and it sparked us. We had a really, really good week against a great defense. So, now we're going on to Arizona, and hopefully we can continue to be better and then continue to improve.
Mike Sealski and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Jason, to kind of piggyback on that just a little bit. At this time, when a team goes through a tough stretch, as you guys did earlier this year, from the outside, there's clamoring about, are they going to play the young guys? Is it time to play this guy wide receiver, that guy left tackle, to see what he can do? How do those sort of dynamics play out in a locker room? Like, are somebody like you who's been around a while, are you at all curious to see young guys? Is there a threshold that a younger player has to hit and maintain in order to stay in the lineup, or is there value in just giving a guy a shot to see what he can do?
Well, obviously, I think everybody's curious at all times to see what the young guys have in games. That's something that whenever a guy gets an opportunity, you're like, okay, let's see what this guy does. This is, these are the moments in the NFL, especially as an older player, or as I'm sure the coaches and everybody else, or even fans, where you're like, hey, I finally get to see this guy go out there and play. So, obviously, it's an exciting time whenever somebody's going out there for the first time. That being said, I think at all times in the NFL, the focus should be winning the football game. Nothing else takes precedence. No player evaluation. No amount of curiosity from anybody within the organization. Everything is focused in my opinion, in this league, upon winning games. You see a lot of losing teams sustain losses for a number of years when they have bad cultures. They have cultures where you don't try and win every week, where you're trying to, what are we going to do in the draft? What are we going to do in free agency? What can we do over here? In football, this isn't basketball. One draft pick isn't going to make us a Super Bowl champion. It might be a big start to a Super Bowl championship, but it's always going to be about the team. That's the greatest thing about this sport, and culture, and the way guys fight, and the way guys go to prepare, and the way guys go about their business is a huge reason for success in this league and in this sport. So nothing takes precedence over trying to win a football game. I don't care who you're trying to evaluate. I don't care if you've lost every game, you're 0-15 and it's the last one you got. Everything is about winning in this league. And I know that I know that won't appease a lot of people out there that always want to talk about getting better draft positions or getting looks at certain guys to see what you got for the future. But again, the moment a team feels like you as an organization aren't doing your job for me to go out there and win, all of a sudden you've shown who you are. You don't care about me or this team. You care about the future. You care about this. That's not what the focus is here. That's not what the focus is on any winning organization's team. So, yeah, that's my answer.
We have two more here for Jason. We'll go Zach Berman and then Dave Zangaro.
I feel odd changing the subject after that answer. But when you look at Jeff Stoutland, and we've asked you about him every which way since 2013, but this year specifically, what has he done that you can only appreciate if you're on the sideline, on the practice field, in those meeting rooms?
Yeah, Stout's got his money's worth this year for sure. He, I don't keep track of this, but every once in a while I'll see like a tweet or something of, this is the 12th different, group up front that has started, and we're going on another one this week. We have, I think as an offensive line coach, the biggest thing that you're trying to build within your group is consistency. Don't get me wrong. You want dominant run blockers. You want guys that go back and are tremendous pass blockers. But all in all, if your offensive line is consistently doing their job, they're consistently doing what's being asked, you're going to be successful. And that's incredibly hard to do when you've been very inconsistent with guys that you've had available or guys in and out of the lineup, young players who you haven't seen, so you don't know what they're going to do. So I think Stout has, done a tremendous job as always, and this is not new to him, but has been made abundantly clear this year of making sure guys are ready to go, making sure guys are prepared. They know what the game plan is. They know what their assignments are. They know what their techniques are, and going out there and trying to put them in a position to be successful. And obviously the season hasn't gone the way we'd like. We've given up a lot of sacks up front. But, I meant this when I talked about the young offensive linemen, and I still mean, I think, the offensive line, although we have not been great and we've had some games that have been very poor, in general, I think guys that have gone in there have done a really good job, and that's a big testament to Jeff Stoutland.
Last one here from Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Jason. I don't think anyone expected this type of year overall for the team. With you being so deep in your career, how have you handled it personally?
Well, you just, I don't know that I've handled it any different, I guess. The biggest thing is that I'm an older guy, so it's really on me to try and keep everything going in the right direction, to keep, everybody, focused on the task at hand. But this is part of football. You're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have seasons where you feel like you're unstoppable, and you're going to have other seasons where it feels like, you don't know what's going on, why we're doing this, we're struggling. And, the highs and the lows are something that you gotta, appreciate. You gotta, it's really about what you do in seasons like this that make you as a player, as a teammate, as a coach. How do you persevere through all of these, tough times? There's not a lot of, worse feelings in this business than when you're losing a lot of games in a row. So what do you do? Are you a guy that, uplifts others, that tries to impart belief into your teammates, into the people around you, and who looks at yourself in the mirror and tries to get better and try to be accountable to everyone? These are the things that I enjoy about losing seasons, finding out about guys, who guys are, what they stand for. Obviously I wish this season would have started off a lot different than it has and gone a lot different than it has. But, that's not the way it goes. So now we're here. We're where we are because of what we've done. What are we going to do to fix it? What are we going to do to right the ship and to get this thing going in the right direction? And, that's all part of being a part of a team, whether you're in your 10th year or your first year.
Wanted to ask you, how impressed have you been with Jalen Hurts, the way he has handled himself on and off the field, and of course the way he performed on Sunday? What have you seen from him, and how impressed have you been?
I've always seen the confidence in him, even before all this happened. But just to see that he is, you could tell that he's ready to go out there and show what he can do, and everybody's excited for him because it's opportunity for somebody. And, the way we're handling it as a team has been good. Both parties, Carson and him, supporting each other. And so, I can't ask for a better situation right now, especially with the confidence he has. I'm just impressed just by how once you give him a week, to prepare, I want to see what he's going to do this week.
Thanks.
Les and then Rob Motti.
Hey, BG, how come you're slacking off so much? You haven't had a sack since like Halloween or something.
Hey, man, all I know is for me, I'm happy our group is definitely eating too. I mean, because everybody out there, we all fighting. You know how I go, them sacks come. When they come, they hot. And all I got to do is get me one, and then I'll hopefully be back on track. But I'm just happy that the group is eating second in sacks. I know that Sweaty had a good game last game. Somebody that I know is gonna be the next one coming up, and so I'm just excited, man, because I know that they gonna come. I don't even stress about them.
That's what I was going to ask you about, really, was Josh. And it seems like he's developed really steadily in 3 years, from almost not playing at all as a rookie to, you could see some hints of it last year. And now he seems to be really constantly producing in limited snaps. What do you see? What's different with him? What has he been able to do in his
I think it's just coming to him even more. I think that he always had that. He always practiced hard. He always did some good things. Like you said, they was showing flashes, but now I feel like he's putting it all together as he continued to get through the season. Even more, I just see just how his confidence has grown, especially in practice and showing up in the game. I think that Josh Sweat definitely has worked his way up all the way, just like because he's hungry.
Thank you.
Rob Motti and then Rob Kessner.
BG, you guys have faced a lot of quarterbacks who can run with the ball, had some trouble with a guy like Daniel Jones. Kyler Murray's on a whole other level. What have you been seeing from him on tape? How difficult is this matchup, and what are you going to have to do to contain him?
Well, he is quick. He's out there. I see him just outrunning people just off like one quick little flinch, and boy, he's gone. I think that we got our hands full. Obviously, we got a game plan that coach is gonna put together, and we just got to trust the game plan and go hard at it. We know this week, just like with Lamar Jackson, you got to run. You got to run to the ball, especially if you think you're gonna get to him. You got to get him to cut back, and hopefully the herd is coming. And I think that it's just everybody got to be running to the ball. You got to get to them in numbers and not get them to cut up one person and cut up another guy just from other guys picking and choosing when they want to run. You know what I'm saying? I think that we all got to go out there and go hard, which we will. I just know that that's what you see on film. You see him just juking people, and sometimes people think that somebody about to make the tackle. You can't assume with this guy. You got to go out there. You got to run to the ball till the whistle blow.
Rob Kessner and then John McMullen.
BG, what's going on, man? Want to ask you about a little off topic. Today is National Signing Day for kids all across the country. What are your recollections of that when you did it at Michigan? Like, did you have to use like a rock and, like a fax machine, or, you know what I mean? Like when you did it back then, or what?
We had fax machines back then. I don't know what I think they still doing that a little bit, but I know that technology is way, way better than when I was coming out. But I just remember the pressure of it, like people trying to hurry up and make sure you signing because they don't want you to flip. I knew already that I wanted to go to Michigan, so they ain't had to worry about me. But I do remember them being on me to hurry up and get that thing over so that they can have it. So it was nice. It was a great experience, something I'll never forget.
John McMullen and then John Clark.
Hey, BG. Talking about leadership with Jalen, I mean, you're a leader on this team, but you got 11 years on your resume. How do you become a leader, especially in this environment? COVID, you guys doing virtual meetings as a 22-year-old kid thrown into this situation. How has he done that?
I think all he's been doing is just working and letting him not being in, I think, fuel him and wait till his moment comes, because that's what you can tell when the guy comes in and he start having success. He's been ready. He's been, waiting on his moment. He's been making sure he's sharpening his sword until his moment came, and that's exactly what you get, because when he wasn't in, he was supportive. He was, he was out there working hard, trying to beat us every day, and I think that you start to see flashes of him just getting better every day that he was out there. And I think the work that you put in you start to become just that natural leader because of what you do every day. You're not a pretender. You're not faking it. People see what the work you put in, and now they're seeing you produce on the field, and then people start to respect you even more. You get that respect, and eventually you become a leader without even knowing it, because people want to be like who you are, and sometimes some people run from it and some people don't. In his case, he's the number one at the number one position on the team, and you want your quarterback to be your leader of the team. And I think that his confidence definitely he will start to grow into that as he continue to keep on working. You just got to keep working.
John Clark and then Martin.
Hey, Brandon, good to talk to you. With the dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL facing Kyler Murray this week, you just faced Taysom Hill, you saw Russell Wilson, you saw Lamar Jackson. Where do you think Kyler Murray ranks amongst those quarterbacks as far as how fast he is, and where do you think Jalen Hurts would rank now?
I think he will be the best one because of how quick he is. He's like real quick. It's like, I mean, I can't even. He quick. That's all I can say. He's number one in the league, especially because of how he moves. And I think we do got our hands full. But like I say, we gotta go out there and we gotta rally to him. We gotta get numbers to the ball on him. And Jalen for sure. Jalen has a long stride, and so Jalen just pulls away from you. But Kyler Murray, he just looks so much faster because of how quick his legs is moving.
Thanks.
Martin Frank and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Brandon. The fact that Jalen and both Kyler were at Oklahoma, I mean, not at the same time, but does Jalen talk to you guys at all about, like, you know, maybe if there were any kind of plays that Oklahoma liked to run for Kyler Murray the year before? I mean, has that come up at all?
We haven't. I really haven't seen. I just got in the building, and we haven't really got a chance to really talk about too much of that just yet. As far as when I walk past him to see what he knows, stuff like that can help us. But I know that that's something I'm definitely going to ask, because I mean, you want to have an edge going into this game, and so anything that we can get an edge on definitely will help in this situation.
And if I could ask one more, kind of unrelated, but what have you seen from Josh Sweat like the last few weeks? I mean, it seems like he's really kind of taken off now.
Oh, just seeing him working. He's been working hard in practice, running to the ball. I mean, you just don't see him just backing down at all. He's coming, and I'm excited for him because I see that he's hungry. That's what I was saying. He's a hungry dog for sure, going out trying to do whatever he can do for the team.
We'll take one more here, Zach Berman.
Hey, Brandon, it's another year when your secondary's pretty banged up. You've been in this situation before. Do you view it that the pass rush can neutralize maybe an undermanned secondary?
Hey, well, you just got to. That's what I feel. We do put the pressure on ourselves that it starts up front, and if he can't get the ball to him, we ain't got to worry about that. Or if we don't make it easy for him, we can hide some of the issues. But I think that it's this week it's gonna be on us. Every week is on us. It's how you play in the trenches. You got to stop the run. You got to get numbers. You got to get in the quarterback's face. You got to get him off his spot. So if we do our job, we'll give ourselves a chance to win that game.
I mean, obviously you missed the the short field goal. What is kind of going on? Is it like a mechanical issue? I mean, a technical issue? I mean, what do you see as the problem, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I just want to say that it's frustrating. I would say that from the other day, it's embarrassing, for the lack of a better term. I'd say it's frustrating because I feel like, especially that day, I was hitting the ball really well. I think you guys probably saw that on the other kicks, but in my profession, if you're not perfect, it's a bad day, and so it was a bad day, and unfortunately missed that one, and have had a couple now. So right now I just got to get back to work. I'm excited to go back out there and kick today and just kind of work through this thing. It's a tough position as far as that goes because you only get so many opportunities, and when I get them, I have to capitalize.
Mike Kay and then John McMullen.
Jake, with that said, how can a kicker kind of cure inconsistency? And also, what's your level of confidence kind of moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be confident in myself, and I understand that, the way a lot of people see it is, kickers can kind of get in a funk and get in their own head, and that's easy to do. But for me, it's all about just getting back out there and going to have a good day today. I think that's of the utmost importance, and that's the best way to get your confidence back is going out there and making kicks.
John, and then Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Jake, you're not the only kicker around this league struggling right now. And as you mentioned, it tends to get worse in certain situations. How do you stop that from happening? And when you do miss a kick like that, that's typically automatic for me. Do you go back and think, did I do something differently? Was I thinking differently? Or is it just not on your mind, just on to the next kick?
I go back and I look at that kick very specifically. I take a lot of time to go through the film and really slow it down and see what went wrong, because going out there, I went out there with a lot of confidence thinking I'm going to make this kick, and obviously, it didn't happen. But for me, it's going back, looking at the film, finding the little errors in there, and going out and correcting it today.
Dave, and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Jake, when you do go back and look at the kicks, do you find trends mechanically, and do you have a kicking coach or someone you can kind of rely on to look at it with you and try to fix those flaws?
I've done this long enough to where I know what goes wrong when things go wrong. I do have some coaches back home that I could send stuff to if I feel I need to. I don't feel I'm at that point. There's a couple things that I've seen that are easy corrections in my mind. So I'm going to go back out there and kind of fix that stuff today. To answer your question, though, I think on that one and maybe a couple of the other ones, it's just me kind of coming out of my follow-through too soon. And I think that's tended to happen to me a couple times on some of the shorter ones, just it being where it is. I'm looking up too early or whatever it may be. So I just really got to hone in on making good contact and finishing my swing.
Zach, and then Ed Kratz.
Hey, Jake, since you signed that contract extension last November, you've missed 9 kicks and 2 extra points. I know that's an arbitrary date, and you've also made kicks during that span, but did that contract provide some type of pressure or security that wasn't there before that could be affecting you?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's changed me as a person. I don't think that's changed me as a player at all. I still show up to work and do the same thing every day. I work my tail off. It's really, really important to me. I'm going to go out there and work and get this thing right. I know it's urgent, and I know that it needs to be fixed. So, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to work my tail off just like I do every day.
Ed, and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Jake, thanks for doing this. We talked to Dave Phipp yesterday, and he said that it's hard to fathom how, you make long kicks. It's the shorter ones you struggle with. Is there any reason to that? Is there a difference in the fundamentals that you apply with a longer kick versus a shorter kick that could be an issue?
I go out there and I approach them all the same way. Obviously I'm not trying to go out there and miss the shorter ones. But I think, like I alluded to earlier, maybe it's me just kind of finishing my swing too soon and looking up, knowing it is one of those shorter kicks. And I just got to go back to the basics and finish my swing and make good contact.
Jeff, and then John Clark.
Jake, Doug Peterson and Dave Phipp have been very supportive of you publicly when we've talked about your missed kicks. Are you the type of person that responds better to positive reinforcement, or are you the type that maybe needs a little kick in the butt every now and then?
I think I'm the hardest person there is on myself. I don't know that I need it from anybody else. It kills me inside, and I try to have a really short memory about it and just get back to work. So I'm not too worried about one side or the other. I don't think it really affects me either way. I think that's been a really bright spot of why I've had success in this league, is because I've been able to kind of brush these things off really quickly and just get back to who I am.
Final 3 here for Jake. We'll go John Clark, Bo Wolf, and then Nick Fierro.
Hey, Jake, obviously you said kicking in the NFL is one of the toughest jobs there is, and a lot of it's mental. How do you not let some missed kicks build up even bigger and affect your confidence or think about every little tiny thing. How do you guard against that?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to when I was an athlete, just as a junior. As weird as it is to say, I feel like it goes back to my tennis days where it's just me out there, and you can't really rely on anybody else to pick you up. So it's something I've been able to do for a really long time, just kind of brush things off. I've always had this 1 minute rule during games where you make a kick, you got 1 minute to enjoy it, and you got to move on to the next one. It didn't happen. You miss a kick, you got 1 minute to think about it, see what happened, improve upon it, and move past it. So it's kind of a little rule that I've had throughout my life, and I think it really helps as far as applying it and moving forward and moving on to the next kick.
Oh, and then Nick Fierro.
Jake, you mentioned the tennis overlap. I know you're also a very good golfer. It seems like there's maybe some connection between a repeatable motion where like one small thing can make a big difference. When you're talking about finishing the swing, do you notice is there a connection between those two?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's all fundamental repetitiveness, and it's something that I've been doing my whole life in a bunch of different categories. So I think all that kind of builds on each other and helps me as an athlete and helps me mentally for sure.
Last one here from Nick Fierro.
Well, that was actually the question I was going to ask, so I'll go on to the next one here. I did notice like a little of a procedural change. It's a comfort thing, I guess. Your extra points used to be from the left hash, and now your last one, I believe, was from the middle. Is there a lot of data that you just look at all the time to come up with stuff like that, or is it just a comfort thing?
No, I don't really look at a whole lot of data. It is a comfort thing, and a lot of it, playing up in the Northeast here is wind dependent. I'll say on one side of the stadium, it's a little bit tricky because it comes through that open end and then bounces off the other end, so it's kind of hitting you from two different ways. So the other night, I ended up going middle just to try to hit it straight down the middle, not even think about playing it one side or the other. So a lot of that is just weather dependent and where I feel comfortable pregame.
It seems like you've obviously really picked up on this defense. Just wondering if there was a time earlier in the season where it was frustrating not being able to really break those old habits and thrive in this system.
Yeah, I mean, it was a point that was real frustrating for me. I'm a guy who I feel like I can pick up on things real quickly, but for me, it was just trying to break some of them old habits, like you say, and just tuning in and trying to focus on learning on what they wanted me to do in this game.
We'll go John Clark and then Wes Bowen.
Hey, so now when you're out there, how confident are you in this system and the things you can do with it?
I mean, I'm very confident. I'm definitely a lot more comfortable. It's just like, my coach has been real tough on me. Even my teammates are just helping me and bringing me along. So now I just feel so confident out there and feel like I'm playing a lot faster. So it's just, it's exciting. Just exciting to actually know I'm getting somewhere in this defense.
What specific teammates were really tough on you and helped you?
I ain't gonna just say one guy, but just all of them just kind of telling me just, what I gotta do, like some of the habits I gotta break, and just some of the things that's gonna help me break some of them habits. So it wasn't more just getting on me; it was just encouraging me, talking to me every day, and just teaching me new techniques.
Last and then John McMullen.
Hey, Javon, it looked like down the stretch, it was pretty much you and Josh Sweat really getting after Taysom Hill Sunday. What do you think of Josh? What do you make of his development this season? Does he remind you of anybody you've ever played with anywhere else? What's he like? We obviously are not around any of you guys ever now. Tell me a little more about him.
Josh, funny. He's real funny. He's a funny dude, a very confident guy. But Josh just a dog, man. When his number is called, he always produce. He's one of the better pass rushers I've been around in this league. So I can't really compare him to anybody. He just unique and got his own little style.
How would you define that style? Like, what does he do?
I mean, he got a little, he like to call it a little Robert Quinn. Like he got his little Robert Quinn move. He got a crazy long arm. Like he just freakish athletic. He just different. He just a good player.
Thank you.
John and then Bo Wolf.
Hey, Javon. It's been 13 games now into the season. What's it like playing next to Fletcher Cox that you've got to do it for a while now?
I mean, you gonna have a lot of one-on-one opportunities playing next to Fletch. Most of the times the slides going over there to him. So I mean, it's good just to see some guy at that level playing the way he play and still producing. Being 10 years or 9 years in the league, I just learned a lot from Fletch, and it's just good playing beside him.
You mentioned that slide on your one sack. They were sliding Fletch's way. How quickly do you pick that up and say, "Ooh, I got a one-on-one here"?
I mean, a lot of times we kind of know it's going to Fletch, so a lot. So I kind of know that going into the game, and just try to take advantage of it.
Thanks, Jay.
Oh, and then Ed Kratz.
Hey, Javon, what were the habits that were difficult to break?
Like I guess I don't know if you know in the read scheme, like it's called a block, called like the crossface. Like if the guard pull and the center come down, I usually crossface that. But now like I'm being taught to U-turn it, just go upfield and try to make that play like that. So just things like that is just trying to break old habits that I've been doing my whole life and just switching my mindset.
And do you feel like you're fully there now, or there's still a few things that you sort of catch yourself doing every now and then?
I'm definitely still a few things that I still got to get better at. It's just I'm just trying to progress every week and try to keep getting better.
Thank you.
Ed and then Mike Kay.
Hey, Javon. Fletcher talked to us a couple weeks ago and said that he really noticed you starting to get the hang of this. After a practice, he said that might have been your best practice. He talked to you about could take a year to learn this new system. Are you surprised that it took this long? I mean, did you think it would be easier to come in and just, attack seems pretty easy, just get upfield, right? But are you surprised that it took as long as it did?
Definitely surprised. Just coming in, I thought it was going to be, like you say, just easy, just getting upfield. But it's a lot more that go into it than how it sounds. So it definitely was a surprise, but it was, it's like I say, I'm not fully there yet, so I'm just still learning. So I'm going to try to get even better at it on these upcoming weeks.
Thank you.
Last two here, we'll go Mike Kay and Zach Berman.
Hey, Javon, what do you like most about playing for Matt Burke?
Matt a straightforward dude. He kind of keep it how it is and tell you what it is. Like I say, him and Coach Wash they stay on me. They don't really take it easy. They coming from a different scheme, they just stay tough on me and just keep riding me and making sure I break some of them habits.
Do you like that type of accountability as opposed to maybe more of a guy who's a little bit more cordial?
I mean, it's a give and take. I mean, I like it because it do make you better, make you push yourself. But at the time, you don't really like being got on all the time. So, but I'm used to that type of coaching, so I do like it.
Last one here from Zach Berman.
Hey, Javon, we've asked you about the scheme change, but you also missed all of training camp. What affected you more, you think? The adjustment in the scheme or the injury?
I mean, I think it was a little bit of both. Having to learn a scheme playing in regular season games is pretty tough. So I was doing all my learning in games and in practice. So I think it's a little bit of both. Was kind of tough, but it ain't really, you can't really make no excuses in the NFL. So it is what it is.